Welcome to the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. Your guide on this journey is Amy Sylvis. If you're ready for the secrets to an abundant life, hit that subscribe button now, and let's get started.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. This is Amy Sylvis, your host, and of course, the founder and principal of Sylvis Capital. I'm so excited to talk to you all today about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. You may not find it all that sexy, but I'm telling you, by the end of this episode, we will make it sexy and interesting. How's that? Does that work? Before we get started, please take a second to rate and review. This helps us so much by spreading the word, by spreading this information to more people, helps us hack the algorithm. So please, if you haven't rated us a 5-star on Apple or on Spotify, and if you haven't made a review, I would be so incredibly grateful if you would do that. And then share the episode, share the podcast with someone that you think needs more abundance in their life and they can learn alongside of us. We're going to talk about something that you're familiar with, but we're going to give you a new spin and a new angle on it. Before I get started, as always, I am not a financial planner. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a CPA. I am not a tax specialist. This episode is about education, me sharing the education that I've received, sharing my own perspective and my own activities in the investment world. So I'm not giving you advice. I'm not telling you what to do. This is just for educational purposes only. Okay, cool. So if you're anything like me on this abundance journey, right, where we're going to refocus back to what we're doing here on this podcast, which is we want time freedom. We want geographic freedom. We want the freedom of contribution to do what we want in this world. We want to be able to own our own time, live where we want, be around the people that we want to be around. And the way our world works is that vehicle to get there to all of those amazing things is our finances, is money. So if we want financial freedom, that is not a destination. That is simply a vehicle, right? Y'all are on board. So these solo episodes are about these financial topics. And if you're anything like me, most of your life, maybe you thought about, how could I have more income? How can I have more money, have more assets, all of these things, right? Because if I want that financial vehicle to be as robust as possible, I need more money, right? That's the whole game. What if we focused on expenses for this episode instead? What if expenses could get us where we're wanting to go with our abundance journey? What do I mean by that? This is not going to be some Dave Ramsey, I'm hitting you over the head, raging about those darn millennials who are spending $5 on a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and that's why you're struggling. That's not this. It's a different spin. He's well-intentioned, but I think he's a little off on some things, truth be told. Let's think about your expenses and what your number one expense is. Have you thought about that? This blew my mind around 15 years ago when I first started to really dive into these financial freedom topics. What would you say your number one expense is in your life? Is it housing? Is it food? Is it healthcare? Transportation? For most people, especially listening to this podcast, it is in fact taxes. Yep. Some of you that may surprise, others it may not. But why does this matter? Why do taxes matter? Why am I dedicating a whole episode to this? Well, I don't know if you saw on Twitter today, you'll get this a week later, so this will be a week old, but on X, Mark Cuban bragged about writing a $200 million check to the IRS or something like that. Good for him. Good for him. Virtue signaling is a great thing. But I would present to you that most people, even Mark Cuban, don't write a bigger check to the IRS than what they owe. No one's out here donating to the IRS, right? It's fine if you feel like it's your duty to pay taxes and fun things. That's fine. We're not going to get into that here. But the reality is, if taxes are your number one expense, yes, I think it's a worthwhile endeavor. And I do myself to, of course, figure out how to earn more money. But what if we could keep more of what we earn? School doesn't really teach us this. And if you're a W-2 employee like I used to be, no one talked about it there. I don't hear this, especially from Dave Ramsey or the regular financial press. but reducing your taxes is possible. And we're going to talk a little bit here why that matters, what that can mean, and what some strategies and tactics can be. Saving money is sexy. Repeat it after me. It really is. It is. It is. But again, money is this vehicle to abundance. So we can grow our income. I do. I'm going to continue to do that. But I'd like to also keep more of what I earn because that's our vehicle. So I really think it's worthwhile for all of us to think about. It is not what we earn, but what we keep. And especially in the W-2 world where you're earning a paycheck and taxes are taken out automatically, I think it can be easy for us, myself included, to just look at our take-home pay. It's kind of painful to look at what our take-home pay would be if we didn't have to pay as many taxes, right? And if you're anything like me, why even look at that or focus on it or be bummed out about it if there's nothing you can do? Because the truth is, as a W-2 employee, it can feel like there aren't a whole lot of things, a lot of levers to pull to reduce those taxes, right? There's a mortgage tax deduction, child tax credit, like electric vehicle credit, maybe some solar credits. You can contribute to your IRA, 401k, retirement. But there really are limits as to how the average W-2 worker can reduce their taxes. You could move to Puerto Rico, less federal income tax there. But I really want to invite you and introduce this concept to you of how you earn your income is how you will be taxed. I didn't realize this. And more people that I speak to, these high net worth individuals, these very successful, high earning folks often don't realize this as well. And it really blew my mind when I was back in the mindset of, I have to trade my time for money. Not only did I believe that that's where abundance was because, hey, I get 4 weeks paid vacation. I got this great healthcare and this steady paycheck, but I also was paying a bucket load of taxes. And I just thought, hey, this is just the way this is. And that may be your perspective as well. But the truth was, I figured out through all of this studying over the past 15, 20 years, that not only was a paycheck not going to allow me to have the abundance that I want in my life, the freedoms, the contribution, the relationships, all of these things that we all so desire. But I also wasn't going to be able to reduce my taxes in the way that I wanted to. So Tom Wheelwright, you may recognize that name. He's a CPA that works with Robert Kiyosaki, says, in order to change your tax, you have to change your facts. And one benefit of changing the way we earn income, and I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm sharing my story, is that there are so many more ways to reduce taxes if you earn your income in a different way than a paycheck from a job. So in addition to having more abundance, I would argue that's been my experience living as an investor, as a business owner, as opposed to a W-2 owner or a W-2 haver. There are so many more tax benefits available. So your job income is called earned income. And the truth is, the way our country is set up, and really most countries around the world are set up, is these folks pay the highest taxes. They just do. These are just the rules. So if you have earned income and that's how you get money into your household, you're going to pay the highest tax. Again, I'm not giving you tax advice. I'm not a tax professional. I'm not a CPA, but I am sharing this education that I think will be a paradigm shift for you. So what if you don't have a job? What if you earn money through what we call portfolio income? You're an investor. You buy and sell things that have capital gains. That can be taxed at a lower level, especially long-term, than your earned income. And then in addition to that, if you have passive income, not only do you get the benefit of not having to trade your time for money, but you also likely will pay the least amount of tax or sometimes no tax. Have you ever thought about having multiple streams of income? Instead of relying on just one stream of income where you're trading your time for money, how would you like to free up more of your time and live a more abundant life? As a listener of the show, you're invited to attend one of our upcoming trainings where I'll give you an inside look into how you can add passive income and get all the other perks of recession-resistant real estate investing without the headaches of being a landlord. We'll also be sharing some hidden mistakes to avoid and the criteria I personally look for when evaluating potential investment opportunities. To reserve your seat for free, go to sylviscapital.com/webinar. Again, that special link to reserve your seat for free is sylviscapital.com/webinar. I look forward to seeing you on the training. And now back to the show. So for those of you like me that were trained in an MBA program from a top 20 university to become a great high earning employee, you're going to get screwed with taxes. And you may be okay with that, but I want to open your mind to the fact that if you start to, as I did, slowly but surely take steps to diversify the type of income that my husband and I have coming in and have different income sources, namely those that are passive portfolio income, there are so many more ways to reduce taxes. The IRS, right off the bat, just taxes these sources of income at a lower amount. So my question to you, as painful as it is have you looked at how much federal income tax you paid in 2023? I know, wild, right? Today, as I'm recording, this is April 15th. It is tax day. It'd be cool if this episode was coming out then, but you're hearing it a week later. That's okay. But your taxes should be filed. Unless you're a real estate investor, we tend to file extensions. But have you noticed maybe 2022, how much did you pay in federal income tax? And what would your life be like in terms of financial abundance and other areas of abundance if you got to keep your federal income taxes that you paid instead of having to pay them? Can you imagine what that would be like? How much closer would you be to creating that vehicle for being able to have more ownership of your time, more abundance with spending time with your kids, more abundance with giving back to charities that you care about, more time to travel, enjoy your hobbies? So we're not going to get super numbers heavy in this episode, but I do want to give you a high level, overly simplistic example that really hit me over the head when I started to put all of this together of, I want this abundance. Money is going to be my vehicle, not my destination. And earning more money is great. Keeping more of what I earn is also going to rocket launch me to the next level of where I want to be. So let's just say hypothetically, I make $100,000 from my job, from my W-2. For round numbers' sake, let's just say my income tax effectively is 20%. Again, I know that's not the case, but let's just say that's what that is for the sake of round numbers. So I earn $100,000 from my job and I pay $20,000 or 20% in federal income tax. Okay, so now I'm left with $80,000. So our take home is $80,000. What if I wanted to then make that $20,000 back by investing? So if I wanted to then earn $20,000 on the $80,000 that I took home, I'd need a return of 25%. Is it easier to save 20% on taxes than to earn a 25% increase on an investment? For me, it is all day long. Way easier to save 20%. And that's because I have the education, right? I have the self-education to understand what I can do to reduce those taxes because I'm an investor. I'm a full-time investor. I understand that the type of income that I earn is portfolio income, is passive income. And my husband and I can reduce our taxes to extremely low levels, which is a lot easier than earning a return. We still earn a return. I like to think we have best of both worlds there. And again, I'm not saying this to brag. This isn't, Amy's earning a lot of money show. That's not what this is at all. But I think these topics, sadly, aren't discussed nearly as much as they should be. And a slight perspective change on this rat race that so many of you are on might help you get to the incredible abundance that you desire and that you deserve, and that I would argue is your birthright. So believe it or not, there are actually some investments that you can make that you will earn a return on that will also simultaneously give you a tax break or a tax deferral or a tax credit. real estate and oil can give you some pretty incredible tax breaks. So for my husband and I, husband Joel, shout out husband Joel, when we invest in these investment vehicles, not only are we earning a return where the return is either portfolio income or passive income, but we're also getting losses on paper, not actual losses, losses on paper that we can use to offset other income that we have. And that overall reduces our taxes. Just a little preview of what is possible. This is a lot of information about a topic that maybe a lot of people don't think is sexy, but my gosh, when we think about, again, and zoom out towards our goals in the abundance space and really focus on our vehicle, our financial abundance vehicle, and understand that those who have ample financial abundance are playing by completely different rules that often aren't discussed in our culture. They're not talked about on the media. They're not taught in schools. If it's not part of your family's dynamic, you're not learning it from your family, but it's available to you. This education, this self-education in finance, in personal finance is completely available. And I want to make sure that you're exposed to it. And maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not part of your goals. Maybe you want to pay even more taxes to the IRS than you owe. I bet you don't. But hey, maybe that's what you tell yourself. And that's great. But I at least want you to be exposed to and have the opportunity to understand that there are ways that you can take home more money and use it, invest it, donate it, leverage it, save it, whatever it means for you. Again, this financial vehicle is up to you. You get to define that, but you can use that to go further, faster in your abundance goals, all of your abundance goals. All right. I hope that you found this informative. There are so many resources on this topic. And the first one really is making sure that you read books, listen to other podcasts, consult an advisor that knows your individual situation, and really study the different types of taxes. All starts with you understanding first what your personal situation is. How are you earning your income? What was the last tax return that you filed, and how much in taxes did you pay? And how much are you interested in changing that situation? So this is all great information, but if you're not able to apply it, if you're not taking action on it, it's useless, right? So I would encourage you today, my last word would be take action on this information if it's interesting to you. Get going on it. Make an appointment with an expert. Figure out who can help you on this journey. All right, y'all. It's great talking to you today. Thanks again for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, and we will talk to you on next week's episode. Wishing you an incredibly abundant day. Talk soon.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Secrets to Abundant Living podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will empower you on your journey towards abundance. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback means the world to us, and it helps others discover the secrets to an abundant life too. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn, Amy Sylvis. Keep striving for your goals, nurturing your relationships, and embracing the adventure that is life. Until next time, we wish you an abundantly fulfilling day.